You need to understand that a man of Swami's stature was always working on for everyone's soul benefit. It wasn't just kindness, oh, he's such a nice person, something like that. He was trying to support each one of us in the way that was appropriate. And if that was being harsh or distant or impersonal, that's what we needed. And if it was being kind of solicitous or uh, one time we were, there was a man here who Swami gave a great deal of energy to. And, but he was not in tune. And Swami was trying to, he had good karma, but Swami was trying to bring him on the path. I mean, for years this went on. And then finally, there was some gathering, some dinner, and Swami was praising this man and praising this man publicly in a way he never did for anybody else. And one of the, I don't know, kind of
More
more
perceptive.
perceptive persons, yes, listening to Swami praise this person and praise this person, this more perceptive person said very innocently, gosh, I knew that man was doing poorly, but I didn't think he was doing that poorly. Meaning that the fact that Swami had to keep praising him didn't mean he was doing well. It meant the opposite. So it's paradoxical how a saint reacts to you. And what we can do is, of course, try to be kind to all, but we can't always translate Swami's behavior into human terms because he was operating on a different level.
And, it was not just either or with a person. Any of you who've been parents know from raising children that there are some things where you have to discipline the child, and there are other things where that child isn't ready yet to learn that lesson. And in those cases, perhaps you need to be more tolerant with them. And so Swamiji could, like we were all like his children, and he could see very clearly, because part of his part of his consciousness was a great clarity of thought, like his mind was one of those pools of water where you can see all the way to the bottom very easily and see the stones at the bottom, whereas most water is murky. His mind was very clear, and he could see the tendencies in people, and he would sometimes correct a person about something and leave completely unsaid obvious flaws that everybody else saw. And we talked with him about it sometimes, or sometimes he would talk to us, and he would say, I'm waiting for the right opportunity to help that person see where they're off. If I try to push it too soon, and they are not ready to see themselves and see that they need to change, then they'll say, no, I don't have that tendency. No, you're wrong. I don't need to work on that. It'll drop their defense mechanisms. And he said, then later on, uh, I have to overcome that already predetermined mindset that I don't need to work on it. So sometimes he would wait years to say anything, even slightly critical, to people that the rest of us would say, oh, why doesn't he talk to that person and correct him on that obvious behavior? So it wasn't just I treat one person this way and another person that way. It was very individualized and according to our needs. But basically, he was like a wind blowing in our sails, uh, pushing us toward higher awareness and greater self-understanding. And if our sails were not up, he could only push us so fast. But if we were open to him, if the sails of our heart and our consciousness were open, then he would work on us. And as I say, he didn't necessarily pamper us. He would blow strong sometimes and try to get us to understand and to change. In fact, more emphasis on change than on understanding.